Eliam Devereaux was born into a world most could only dream of. His childhood was marked by grand estates, private jets, and a life of unimaginable luxury. His father, a global real estate magnate, and his mother, a former fashion model turned philanthropist, had crafted an image of perfection that the world admired. To outsiders, the Devereaux family was the epitome of success. They were wealthy, glamorous, and influential, and Eliam was their only child, the golden boy destined to inherit it all. Growing up, Eliam never knew what it meant to want for anything. If he desired something, it was his. Whether it was the latest sports car, a villa in the south of France, or a rare bottle of champagne, nothing was out of reach. His life was a parade of grand parties, private yachts, and exclusive events attended by celebrities, business tycoons, and world leaders. It was a life designed for the elite, a bubble of excess where nothing seemed impossible. From an early age, Eliam had learned the art of presentation. He knew how to wear the right clothes, say the right things, and project the image of a successful, happy man. His friends admired him, envying the life he led, and women swooned over his charm and good looks. Eliam, with his sharp jawline, piercing blue eyes, and sculpted physique, looked every bit the part of the young, successful heir. But behind the perfect facade, there was something Eliam couldn't quite place, a nagging feeling that, despite having everything, something was missing. As Eliam entered adulthood, the expectation was that he would take over his father's empire. The family's wealth would pass to him, and he would carry the Devereaux name into the next generation, ensuring their legacy endured. Eliam didn't resist. It was what was expected of him, and so he followed the path laid out for him. Walking the corridors of power, shaking hands with the right people, and attending the most exclusive schools and events. But as time passed, Eliam began to feel the weight of the world he had inherited. The riches, the parties, the beautiful women, all of it began to lose its luster. Eliam moved through the upper echelons of society as if on autopilot. His friends were other heirs, actors, models, and businessmen. They gathered in luxury suites and at secluded island resorts, celebrating their wealth and success. These were men and women born into privilege, living lives so far removed from the rest of society. It seemed they existed in an entirely different world. Their conversations were shallow, revolving around acquisitions, luxury brands, and scandalous affairs. There was a relentless pursuit of status and wealth. Who had the newest, fastest car, who wore the most exclusive designer clothes, and who was dating the most beautiful woman of the moment. It was a life centered on appearances, where the only thing that mattered was how you were perceived by others. Eliam's closest friends were like him, driven by image. They spent their time in Michelin-starred restaurants, exclusive nightclubs, and aboard private jets. Their gatherings were a spectacle of wealth and extravagance, yet none of them seemed truly happy. Beneath their laughter and smiles, Eliam began to notice the cracks. There was a hollowness to their conversations, a void that no amount of wealth could fill. At these gatherings, he couldn't help but feel a growing disconnection. His friends spoke about business deals as if they were the most important things in the world, but to Eliam, they sounded meaningless. He realized that he didn't care about stock prices, the market value of companies, or the latest business mergers. None of it brought him joy. More than once, he found himself staring at the glittering lights of the city, wondering if this was all there was. His relationships, too, felt hollow. The women who flocked to him did so because of his name and his wealth. They adored the lifestyle he provided, the luxurious vacations, the designer clothes, the access to the most exclusive places. But Eliam knew that they didn't love him. They loved what he represented. In his heart, Eliam longed for something real, something authentic. But in the world he inhabited, everything felt fake. For years, Eliam sought distraction in the only way he knew how, through the relentless pursuit of pleasure. He threw lavish parties that lasted until dawn, where champagne flowed like water and the music never stopped. He surrounded himself with beautiful people, celebrities, and influencers who lived for the thrill of the moment. Together, they chased experiences that promised excitement. Helicopter rides over remote islands, impromptu trips to exotic locations. Nights that blurred into mornings filled with laughter and indulgence. His penthouse apartment became a sanctuary for the elite. The vast living room, with its floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the city skyline, hosted the most exclusive gatherings. It was a place where reality seemed to fade, where the outside world no longer existed. Here, Eliam could forget, even if only for a short while, the emptiness gnawing at him. But no matter how extravagant the party, how luxurious the setting, Eliam couldn't escape the creeping sense that something was wrong. The nights of celebration left him feeling drained, and the people he surrounded himself with only seemed to heighten his sense of isolation. The pleasure he pursued felt fleeting, like sand slipping through his fingers. As the years went on, Eliam grew increasingly aware of the artificiality of his life. He could feel it in the laughter that echoed through his apartment, in the shallow compliments and empty promises made by those around him. It was a world built on illusion, a carefully crafted facade designed to hide the void underneath. It wasn't until his 30th birthday that Eliam began to truly recognize the cracks in his life.